Hello, welcome once again to today's class. I have a portion here in my document, and I will be proceeding from the pages group to the tables. Now, table is one of the major part, or the main part of Microsoft Office Word you want to get yourself familiar with, because it is very useful when you are trying to present the data in a table format. Tables are made up of rows and columns, and then in Microsoft Word there are four basic way, or maybe now we have up to five, but there are just like four basic way of inserting table into your document. You may want to use this method, which just over this you have a premeditation or pre-calculation of the number of cells and rows you use. So a table is made up of rows and column. Now this is a column. This is column 1, this is column 2, this is column 2, and this is column 3, and then this is row 1 and this is row 2. So tables are made up of rows and column. So meaning that if I have let's go to insert. If I want to insert table, I can actually see that when it says 2 by 4 table, it means that it has 2 columns and 4 rows. Okay, so if I want to extend that and make it maybe 3 by 5, means it has 3 columns and 5 rows. So the columns comes before the rows, so you want to have that before you insert your table. Okay, that is the first method. So when you hover the number of method, and this can only take up to 10 by 8, maximum of 10 by 8 10 by 8 table. That is a 10 columns and 8 rows. But what if I have to insert something more than this? Say I want to use a table that has more than this. I can come to the insert under the table and just click on insert table. When I click on insert table, this insert table dialog box, the one you are seeing, will actually pops up, and I can type the number of columns I want, maybe 20, and the number of rows I want, probably 15. Okay, and then these settings you can set it here. That is auto fit column width, meaning that this you notice the table I have underneath this dialog box. You see that the table extends from the left margin to the right margin. That means that this table is auto fit to column, auto fit to window. So if I click on this, I will actually insert a table that will fit to the window. So I'm going to undo that, and let's just come back to insert table again using the box, and I'm just going to type 20 by 15, the same dimension that we use. So I'm just going to say auto fit to content. Okay, you can see that the table is auto fitting to the content, meaning that I will have to type the content, that the table automatically adjusts based on the content that I have in that document. But I will advise you as beginners to just not mess up with this. Okay, if you don't want to take the time of shifting and moving the table, just leave it at auto, insert your table, and just click on OK. Okay, so this will automatically cover the whole window. Now you will notice that each time I insert a table or I click on a table element, there is an additional tabs here. Okay, this is going to take a lot of time to explain, so you may want to pay attention to this section. Okay, so we have a table before us, and for easy explanation, I'm just going to delete this table. To delete a table, just right click on the table and click on delete. So at times, if you press backspace on your keyboard, it will work if you actually highlight the whole table. But if you highlight part of the element of the whole table and you are pressing backspace, it will only delete that column. So take note of that. If you want to delete the whole column, just right click on the hanger or the handle here and just click on delete table, or you press delete on your keyboard. So I'm going to use the table below to explain the two additional tabs, which is the table tools that we have here. If you come to the design, you see that there are so many settings you you can set, but usually you may want to get yourself familiar with this is just setting if you want the first column to be header, or where this is setting table styles. So we can have different table styles. These are table styles that you can pick from. These are pre-formatted table styles, and they can actually affect the way text looks on this table. So I can have maybe serial number here, and then you see that the borders of the table is no longer showing, and have name. Let's pick first name, and then last name, and then full name. You notice that the border is no longer shown, so I can just have my table as this. Now the table has margin. Okay, in the previous class I taught you how to use the ruler to adjust the margin, so you can actually use the table also to adjust the margin, which is also the size of each of the column, or each of the column or cell or row in the document. So I'm going to change the style of this to the normal one, and just to illustrate I know by now you should know how to change this with just one click. Just highlight and change it to capital uppercase. Okay, so I may not need to delete. I'm just going to highlight this and change it to uppercase, so I may not need to delete and retype again. Okay, so using the table has margins. Okay, we have the margins at the top here, which just denotes the size of each column, and we have the margin at this size, which denote the size of each of the rows we have in this table. So I can actually adjust the margin, bring it up and bring it down depending on the size of text I have. So if I have it like this and I'm clicking on this, I'll be able to adjust the margin and probably drag it down, or drag it up, and as the case may be. Okay, so back to the design tab. I was saying that you can pick any of the design you have here and then use them for your table, but don't forget the design you pick will actually have effect on the table you're working on. Alternatively, after you select the design, you can also come here and just change this and just remove either of any design you may have here, and to change it back to the normal text. Okay, then also we have areas. We have a section here which is shading, so you can actually pick any color that you want to use as a background color. Here we have gray. I may want to use another color as background here, probably red. Okay, then I have to come back to home and change this text to maybe white, just to ensure that there is enough contrast between the background and the text. Okay, from that we have the border. Okay, table has border. These lines you are seeing around the table is the table border. Okay, so I may want to draw a border. Alternatively, I can come here and just select all border. This is just like the what I taught you initially about using border here, that you can actually put a border around text. So this is the same logic that works for the table. You can actually pick the border that you want your table to have. Not only that, you can actually pick the border color. Okay, so if you come to borders and shading, I can actually change the color of my border to another text. Okay, I don't have it. Okay, so I'm going to change this background to just change it to the normal color, no fill. Okay, no color, but don't forget that I have my text already written in white, so I want to change the text back to black. Okay, so that you can see the yellow border around this table. So I can actually have a border around the table. Not only that, I can select the color of my border, not only the color of the style of my border, not only the style of my border, I can also select the size. So if I have under the borders and shading, the dialog box, you can pick several types of border you want on your table. Okay, and then decide how you want it, maybe all, maybe a box that is around, and even the width of the border. So I'm just going to pick the highest just to show the effect. You can see this type of border. This is not looking too good anyway, but I think for just to illustrate how to use border for your table. Alternatively, if you just pick the border style you want it to be only top border, just use only top border. There are times that you are working on a document, then you don't want it to have the top border. You can just highlight this place and just click deselect the top border. Okay, highlight this place, deselect the bottom border, so you have it as this. Okay, so that is how to work with border on tables. And the next table 2, which is the layout, this is where we have the major work in the table. And then I'm going to use up border so that we can see. Okay, for you to add additional columns, someone may pops up the question and says that what if I have my table and then I decide I want to add more column, probably the name is more than one. I can actually place my cursor here and use tab on the keyboard to add more column, more rows, rather not column, more rows to this document. So I can use the tab to add more rows. Alternatively, I can I'm just going to use all border again, probably change the type of the table style so that I can easily illustrate what I'm trying to illustrate. So I can actually use tab to add more row. Just keep on putting the mouse here and press tab, then add more row. But that is the way to do it with one click. Okay, so I can actually place my cursor here. Coming to the layout tab, there are lots of information that we can set here. One of the information that we can set here is the draw table. This draw table is the same thing as the draw table here. I've not really treated that, so I'm just going to leave that for now. Another thing is the eraser, which actually deletes parts of the table. So I want to erase this part of this table. I'll just hold and drag, then I'll erase it. I want to merge this together, but it's another way of saying you are merging it together, but just use the eraser to, I just undo that, just use the eraser to delete part of your table. So I have my eraser selected, and then the question is that what if I want to type? Okay, and then how do I bring my cursor back? Just press escape on the keyboard. Once you press escape on the keyboard, the cursor go back to the normal. So under delete, okay, I may want to delete this column. If I don't need this column, I'm going to highlight this column and just click on delete on the keyboard. So I've just deleted this column. I want to delete cell, I can delete cell. If you are deleting cell, it's going to ask you a question. Do you want to shift it to the left, meaning that this cell will be empty, this highlighted cell will be empty. So you need to tell the Word application where you are shifting it. So I'm just going to shift the cell up, so it's going to adjust. Okay, it's not going to work anyway. I know it's not going to work. Okay, so that is how to delete table. You can also delete rows. If you have more than enough rows, just highlight. I'm just holding and drag, click and drag. You hold your left mouse button, then you drag over it to delete the rows. And if I want to delete the whole table, I'll just come here under the layout and just click on delete the table. So I can actually delete the whole table. I'm just going to undo that just to illustrate. So back to the layout. So I was saying that if you want to add, probably you want to add additional column, you can actually insert right, that is the column. Insert left is also for column. Okay, but insert up is for row. Insert below is for row. So you see how it works. So this 2 is for rows, this is for column. Okay, now I'm going to delete this additional row up here. Okay, I'm going to delete this additional column here. I want to delete this additional column here. Okay, now I want to illustrate merge cell. Now I was saying that you can use eraser to erase part of the cell, meaning that cell will not be erased, but there's a way you may want to do that. If I have an heading here that allows division, maybe we have what kind of heading allows division? That you have several. Okay, if I have name, and then rather than I have gender here, and then gender can be male and female. I have male here and I have female there. familiar. So meaning that this gender should work for this too. So I'm just going to highlight this cell and just merge the cell. Once I merge the cell and then I come here to centralize the alignment, then this can work for the two. So that is how to create to actually merge cell. Alternatively, I may just decide I want to split the cell. If I have this as a single column, I want to split the cell into two columns, then 9 rows. You can't this, we have 9 rows here. Just click on 2. Okay, I may want to split a single cell. Maybe I have rather than having name here, I have first name, then I have last. Okay, so I have first and last name. I want to split this into 2. I'll just highlight the split cell into 2 columns. Just click on OK. Then I can bring my last to this other column. So that is how to split cell. So it's just like the opposite of merging. Okay, so if I have I'm just going to insert something above this place, then I'm going to merge this together and call this group 1. Okay, there's an option here for an alignment, so let me just not jump. Let's just stick to the alignment that we are familiar with. So if I only have 3 names in group 1, then I have group 2 here. Using the merging option, I can actually not just decide to just merge this together, but imagine if I want this to be in a separate table and then I've typed the whole of document. There's no way of creating this table. So what I'm just going to do is to place my cursor here, then come to split table. I'm just going to do that again. I'm going to place my cursor here, then click on split table. I'm just going to undo it once again. Place your cursor here, then click on split table. So that we actually divide the table into different into a new table. So this is now 2 tables. Okay, so we have split cell and split table, and then we have an option which I was trying to illustrate while inserting table on auto fit. So I may want to auto fit this to content, mean that this thing will be as big as the content inside. The more I type the content inside, the more the table expands. Okay, so and alternatively, I may want to, let me just going to undo that. I want to use fit to window, mean that it's going to expand to fit the whole area covering the margin. So you see that the margin is from here to here. So if I drag this, rather than moving the whole table, I'm just going to drag a single side. So you may want to use that. Just click on the table, then auto fit it to the window. So then what is the essence of this last one, which is the fixed column? Fixed column is just that each of the column we have a fixed size, fixed breadth. Okay, so I'm just going to use fixed column. That may not work here, but let me just use it for this. I'm just going to delete this cell, delete this column. Okay, so I'll enlarge this more than this. So I will now highlight on this table and just use that fixed column width. Okay, why is this not working? Normally it should work to, okay, there is another option which is distribute. Okay, I'm actually confusing them. Okay, so we have that for auto fit. Then another option is the row height and the width. Okay, so we are talking about height, we are talking about the row, and when you're talking about width, you're talking about the width. Okay, the column. So rather than holding here to drag like I taught us, I can actually bring it here and increase this width. So the more I increase, the more this thing gets bigger. The more I increase this height, the more the road gets bigger. So I can actually readjust that to do that. So alternatively, I can click on this and just click on distribute rows, so meaning that each of the row we have equal height. I can click on this and say distribute column, meaning that each of the column will have different sizes. This is very useful. This is very useful. If you, instead of trying to adjust each of the say I have name 1 here, and then I have name 2 here, name 2 here, then I have name 3 here, and I have name 4 here, name 5 here. Okay, and I actually adjusted this, but I know that I don't want to waste time to adjust this, so I can just come to this place and just click on distribute column. So it's going to adjust it basically before that. So and alternatively I can just click on this and just increase the height. So the more I increase the height, the more the whole thing. Now the last thing I want to illustrate here is just the, I'm not going to touch this because we are not having a formula data yet, and it's actually not useful. This is best used for Excel. For me, if you want to add one column plus another one, which is the best work to be done in Excel, so I'm not going to touch that here. We have, remember when I was teaching, when I was talking about alignment. So when I was talking about alignment, I said we have basically 4 types of alignment. Okay, but I said there may be other that for the basic level. So in table we have up to 9 types of alignment that you can use, and I'm just going to demonstrate it for you. This normally is the left alignment. Okay, but this is not just the left alignment, this is the left and top alignment, meaning that this particular text is at the top, is switched to the top and also to the left. But watch it, you can see that this is the top and also the left. So if I pick this comes to the middle. If I pick this, comes to the to the bottom. If I pick this, comes to the middle, comes to the center, like this. So these are the types of alignment you may want to use, but you may want to consider using it as this. This is useful at times if you really want to justify what you have in your document. Well, this may not be effective if your row is not that long, but if you have a very big row width or row height rather, you may want to set the alignment. I'm just going to highlight this and set it to the right side, the right but center. Okay, align center left. Okay, this is the center and also the left. And I'm sure we've seen some things in report card where we have some like a subject written like this, written across instead of written like this, so vertically. So I can actually write this subject vertically instead of horizontal. So if I change the text direction, the more I click on it, the more I'm able to change the text direction. So this is how to change text direction in the table. Okay, so I can change this text direction, just highlight the whole thing, then change the text direction to what I want, then just readjust it to that. Okay, then the margin, the margin is also important. The margin is just like the space between this table line and the text. Okay, currently it's set to 0, but I'm just going to change this. I'm going to change this to 1 and then change the bottom to 2. Okay, let me just use something big. Let me just use 5. Okay, the left, I'm just going to pick maybe 5 also, and 5. So watch what will happen to the table now. Okay, the margin is too big. Let me just set it as 0.3 because of the size of the. Okay, I'm just going to set that. Okay, what you will notice is that the table is now big. You see, mean that this is going to be like space of 5 points from here to here, then another 5 points from here to here, and that 5 points from here to here. So that makes it a little bit big, so I'm just going to undo that. Okay, but that is also how to set the margin. You may want to use something big, maybe just I may just use this one, or maybe just 0.5, just to illustrate what I was referring to. 0.5, just 0.5, 0.5, then we have 0.5. okay, and just click on OK. You see that there is enough space. We have the space before, so that is basically how to set the margin. Okay, this is different from the column height, meaning that even if I adjust the height of this thing, if I should adjust the height, it's not going to move beyond that point because I already set up a margin. If I should try to adjust the side beyond this point, it's not going to work. I can pull it down, but I cannot bring it up again because I already set the margin. So you may not want to set the margin except you actually know that you needed using the mouse. So I'm just going to undo that. Okay. Yeah, then still in the layout, tab on that page, you can actually sort the information you have on your document. So I want to sort this maybe alphabetically. I have some information here that I want to sort alphabetically. I just say okay, so you can actually highlight, then you just sort. Okay, just like how you sort in the home tab, just click on sort, you'll be able to. Directory is not valid sort. Oh, sorry, I need to sort by paragraph. Then okay. Oh yeah, by column. Yeah, I was actually trying to sort based on this document, but I forgot I need to sort. By the column, not by the general stuff. Okay, so we can see that this has been sorted. Okay, I said I'm not going to talk about this because I cannot be doing much of formula for this, as this is just a basic class. So lastly, before I end this topic on tables, I'm going to delete all the tables I have this document. I know by now you should be able to come to this place and just click on delete table, or you just click on it, right click on it and click on delete table. So you remember I said that there are more than one ways to insert table. We've dealt with this, then the last one is the insert the draw table option. This is actually tedious, but you can just actually hold and drag and draw your table, and begin to hold and drag, put it inside. As beginners, I won't really advise you to use this, but if you want to try it out, you are free to try. So just begin to draw your table, meaning that if you make mistake, you just have to use undo. So draw the table the way you want it. Okay, you can actually draw tables the way you want it, rather than using the margin option to readjust the table. You can actually draw the table the way you want it to appear. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that. I'm not sure this is really useful here, but let's just that is that about drawing the table. And peradventure you make a mistake, and just click on eraser to erase the part of the mistake, the lines you made a mistake. You just click on eraser to do that. Then after you are done with the eraser, don't forget to press escape, or just double click to bring your cursor back to the normal. So that is that about table. See you in the next class.